Alright everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Hope you're all well. Happy New Year. Tonight's video is going to be my top 10 NRL Bad Boys list. So I'm going to be going from 10th place up to 1st place. I'm going to give you in my own opinion who the top 10 NRL Bad Boys are of the NRL era. Unfortunately, players like Julian O'Neill and stuff, they don't count, as a lot of the stuff that they did was pre-NRL. This is just from 1998 onwards. The NRL is no stranger to controversy and off-field behaviour, so it was quite hard to put this list together. There's lots of people that could have been eligible. To be eligible for this list, you had to have done at least 2 or 3 bad stuff in the past, not just the one isolated incident, but it has to be a string of incidents. Like I said, this list was quite hard to put together. There's a couple of players that could be in this list, but I've left them out, and that'll be up for you, the audience, to debate on that. So coming in at number 10, I've decided to go with Corey Norman. In 2016, he was arrested at Star City Casino with possession of MDMA capsules. He was banned for the rest of the 2016 season and fined. Before that, in the same year, he was pictured with known rebel bikie members and other criminals. He was warned by the NRL not to do that, but he went ahead with it anyway. In that same year as well, he was also reprimanded by the Parramatta Club for sending sex tapes of himself to other players, and it got leaked to the club and he got fined for that. In 2018, he was fined 20 grand for drinking while he was supposed to be recovering from an injury. And then after he left Parramatta in 2019, there was a video that emerged of him back, I think, in 2013, 2014, when he was with Wallabies rugby union player Curtly Beale, and they were snorting cocaine off this plate with this other old lad, and Corey Norman's going, "That's the young blood, mate, that's the young blood, get that in here." So Corey Norman, he comes in at number 10 on the list. Number 9 is Kenny Edwards. He's no stranger to off-field controversy. Before he actually started in the NRL, he was sacked by both Manly and St George in the lower grades for off-field incidents. Then he played in Queensland for a bit, and he was sacked by the club that he played for up there. Apparently he was inciting people on his team to fight members of the opposition and people in the crowd. Then in 2015 he was given a 9-month ban for taking a piss test on behalf of Kaiser Pritchard. In 2017 he was reprimanded and fined and suspended over domestic violence allegations against his partner. And then 2018, the thing that pretty much ended his career in Australia, he was driving on a suspended licence. He saw the old bill up the road. He decided to drive down a side street. He fled the vehicle. He was later caught over that. He failed to tell the Parramatta Club, and as a result he was sacked. So he comes in at number 9 on the list. Number 8 is Josh Dugan. So he's another he's no stranger to off-field incidents, this guy. In 2013 he was sacked by Canberra. Of course, we all know the infamous vodka cruises on the roof and flipping off the coach or flipping off the media. I don't know who he was sticking the finger up at. Before that, he'd been involved in a couple of minor incidents. Then in the same year, he was offered a contract by Brisbane, a multi-million-dollar contract, but for some reasons, I think he made some comments public, and Brisbane decided to strip that contract off the table, so he lost out on that. In 2017, he decided to go drinking while on Origin camp with Blake Ferguson. In 2018, he was kicked out of an RSL for being drunk and disorderly and harassing other patrons. And then in the same year, he cost Cronulla a multi-million-dollar sponsorship deal when him and Andrew Fafita went on a podcast, and they called Phil Rothfield a bald-headed cunt and an old weathered hag or something like that. So they lost the sponsorship over that. And then last year, he was reportedly involved in a big brawl up at Early Beach in Queensland. So that's Josh Dugan's rap sheet. He's at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Andrew Fafita. He actually had a pretty quiet start to his career. The first couple of years he was well behaved, but in 2014 he lost a multi-million-dollar deal to join Canterbury Bankstown. He actually, after he signed the contract, he said that he regretted signing the contract. He wished he would have signed for Rugby Union, and they said his heart was still in Cronulla, so Canterbury took that off the table. In the same year, he was involved in a road rage incident down in Tarrant Point where he pulled someone over and kicked the shit out of their car and threatened to kill the person inside the car. In 2015, him and his brother abused the referee. We all remember that at a local rugby league match. 2016, he publicly supported the one-punch killer Kieran Loveridge, and he had an FKR on his wristband. He was fined $20,000 over that. In 2018, he was also, as I just mentioned earlier, responsible for costing Cronulla Sutherland's a multi-million-dollar sponsorship deal for his comments on Phil Rothfield, and he's been involved in a couple of other unsavoury incidents as well. Coming at number 6 is Arana Tamata. This is a player that most people probably don't know, but he was tipped to be the next big thing. He had a lot of raps on him, but he only ever played 14 first grade matches over, I think, a period of about 5 or 6 years. He played for 8 NRL clubs, not all of them for first grade. Some of them he didn't get a go, but he was sacked by 7 clubs throughout his career. Some of the clubs he was sacked by were Brisbane, Melbourne, Eastern Suburbs, Canterbury Bankstown. He was sacked by Penrith for stealing a prescription pad off a doctor, and I remember Phil Gould seeing that. It's only a matter of time before Arana Tamata kills himself or kills someone else. He was also sacked by this local countryside in New South Wales called Tumut, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but he was sacked by them. So I think in terms of being sacked by clubs, he probably holds the record for that, but he comes in at number 6. Number 5 is Ben Barber. He's also no stranger to controversy. 2009, he was involved in a drunken brawl with his own teammates. So he went out on the lash with Jamal Idris and all that, and he ended up fucking getting clouted by them, and he was given a few punches to them back. In 2013, he was stood down by Canterbury for allegations of domestic violence, and he had some other issues. 2016, after Cronulla Sutherland won the grand final, he tested positive to cocaine. He's banned by the NRL for that. 2018, he was sacked by the rugby union club he played for, Toulon, over in France. And then in 2019, when he signed for North Queensland, he was terminated and deregistered before he played a match after further allegations of domestic violence were laid against him. At number 4, Anthony Watts. So his rap sheet started in 2007 when he was playing with Cronulla. He was sacked by Cronulla after he went to a dormitory or a boarding house where young Cronulla players that haven't made the grade yet, they all stay in the same place, and he was sacked after he got into a brawl with them. 2011, he was sacked by Eastern Suburbs after he was involved in domestic violence with his girlfriend at the time. 2012, he come over here to England. He played with Widnes. He was later sacked by them after he was arrested for drunken disorderly. The police also found cocaine on his possession. In 2013, when he went back to Australia, he was accused of biting an opposition player on the penis. And in the same year, he was arrested for a free. 2014, he was arrested once again after going on another drunken rampage. And then in 2016, he was arrested for assaulting a man at a wedding. He kicked the shit out of a lad at a wedding for some reason. Number 3, now we're getting into the real bad boy territory now. Paul Carter. So in 2014, he was sacked by the Gold Coast after a lot of off-field problems there. 2016, he was sacked by South for further off-field indiscretions. Apparently, he didn't show up to training for a couple of days because he went on a bender instead. 2017, he was drinking over at Blake Ferguson's place. After he left the premises, he phoned the police and said that Blake Ferguson was doing drugs with his children present in the room. The police went in there, they kicked down Blake Ferguson's front door. There was no drugs found there. It was found that Paul Carter was making the whole thing up. In the same year, he was also sacked by Eastern Suburbs for an off-field scandal. I think he was the person that was with Sean Kenny-Dow with the cocaine. And then he was also in the same year, he got in trouble because he failed to appear at court. In 2017 also, he was also involved in a fake jersey scam. And then in 2019, he was the player that was actually accused of leaking the Big Packy sex tapes because he was mates with Dylan Napper back in the day, and he was, I think, one of the players that was named of leaking the sex tapes. Coming in at number 2 is Todd Carney. So Todd Carney, his rap sheet started in 2006. He was arrested for drink driving. 2007 he was arrested for drink driving, and then later in that year, him and Steve Irwin, yes, there was a rugby league player called Steve Irwin, they led police on a high-speed pursuit through Canberra. Todd Carney later fled from the vehicle. Steve Irwin was arrested. His career was over after that point, but for some reason Todd Carney got a second chance after that. In 2008, he urinated on someone in a nightclub. He was up on the balcony and he pulled his dick out and pissed on someone that was below. Then he was sacked by Canberra in 2008. In 2009, he went on a rampage through Canberra. He was jumping on top of cars, damaging the bonnets and all that. And he also defaced the Phone Zone shop, which was actually one of the sponsors of Canberra back then. In the same year, he set fire to someone's pants at a party, and he was involved in a brawl after that. There was 4 men involved in that. In 2011, he was arrested for drink driving again, and then he was involved with an off-field incident with Anthony Watts. In 2011, he broke protocol. Apparently, all the Eastern Suburbs Sydney Roosters players had vowed not to drink, and him, Nate Miles and Frank Paul Nuasala were all caught drinking, so they were all reprimanded over that. And then in 2014, as we all know, the infamous bubbly. I do feel sorry for Todd Carney over that incident. If you want to know the full story and that, just ask me in the comment section below and I'll tell you. But his career was pretty much over in Australia after that bubbler incident. And coming in at number 1, it's Jamil Hopoate, the most suspended player in rugby league history. So he had a lot of off-field incidents in the 90s, but in 2001, this is one I always remember. He did the finger where he, over the course of a few matches while he was playing for West Tigers, he was trying to stick his fingers up opposition players' asses. So he was caught on video doing that, and he was fined over that. In 2003, he was fined by Manly after he turned out for a local rugby union match, which was against the conditions in his contract. He was fined over that. In 2004, he abused a touch judge and he was fined over that incident. In the same year, he abused a ball boy during an NRL match. He threatened to kill the ball boy. He got fined over that. 2005, the tackle that pretty much ended his career, I think he got suspended for 17 weeks. His elbow to the face of Keith Galloway. He dove through the air like Superman and went whack, hit Keith Galloway in the head. In the same year, he was banned for 12 months from all forms of rugby league after he abused a local official at a match. In 2010, while he was a doorman at a nightclub in King's Cross, he was convicted of assaulting someone while he was on duty. In 2013, while he was still working there in King's Cross, he intimidated a parking officer. In 2016, he assaulted a man out the front of a Crow's Nest supermarket, and he was given a suspended jail sentence over that. And in the same year, he was coaching the SG Ball Manly side. The NRL said that they thought that Jamil Hopoate wasn't a fit person and he wasn't of good character. He's not someone that should be hanging around young people because he's a very bad influence. And then Jamil Hopoate went on Twitter and then he said that he had a conversation with the NRL, which he didn't. He was lying and he said everything was okay and he was going to return back to coaching. As a result, the NRL said to Manly, if Jamil Hopoate is still employed at your club, you're going to get $1 million worth of fines, and he's also going to get fined. So then Jamil Hopoate stood down from that. In 2017, when he was in the World Cup with the Tongan camp, he threatened to bash Adam Blair publicly. And then 2018, he was banned for 10 years from all forms of rugby league after he was involved with this big, massive brawl at a local rugby league match on the Northern Beaches. I think it was Forestville Ferrets and some other club. And then in the same year, he went for the League of Legends game on the Central Coast. And because that's not sanctioned by the NRL of the New South Wales Rugby League, he was allowed to actually play in that game. And when he took to the field, he had a rubber glove on, which was in reference to the 2001 incident where he was sticking his fingers up people's asses, and he was slammed for that incident. So that's me top 10 NRL Bad Boys list. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, there's a lot of players that could have made this list, or there's players that I left out, like for instance Jamil Hopoate, Blake Ferguson, Peni Terepo, Tony Williams, T-Rex, Tevita Latu, Tim Smith, Brett Seymour, Dylan Walker. I left them out. I also left out Jacob Loco. I mean, he's had numerous charges, drink driving, dealing drugs. He got into a brawl with George Defoe out the front of a pub somewhere. So there's quite a few players that I could have put in there. But I hope you enjoyed the list. If you did, give it a like. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I'm up to 467 subscribers at the moment, looking to get to 500. Anyways, everyone, this is Rugby League History signing off, and I'll catch you all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye now.